Hi, I'm Jason. Today I'm going to be showing you how to raise your handlebars on a road bike, mountain bike, hybrid. It's going to depend a little bit, but you'll be able to see pretty quickly if your bike is going to work or not with this kind of fix here. So this is showing the stem extender already installed. So what you're going to want to look for is, do your handlebars have this little Allen wrench nut on top of them? And are they the kind where you've got these other Allen wrench nuts on the side tightening it into place? So here's how things look to start off. Your first step is that you want to remove this original screw here. So mine came with an Allen wrench. If not, you might need to find one that's the right size, and you will just remove that until it is completely unscrewed. And this little plate is going to come off with it. Now as you look inside there, that is where the new screw is going to go in once we have everything attached. The second thing you need to do is unscrewing this screw here and that screw there. And it happens to be the same size Allen wrench in my case. That might not be the case for you, but it was for me. It doesn't need to come all the way out, just loose enough. Okay. So I'm just going to pull up on this once we have it loose enough, and I might not quite have it loose enough. I thought I did. There we go. Now, I'm going to try not to let this fall here. And we're going to take the stem extender, which is this here, and it came just like that in the box. So we've got a different cap, or you can use the original one if you want. This long old screw, and then these different rings here. And another little place to attach. So this is going to attach onto the frame here where the other one was. And I didn't realize this, but as I was looking, my original one actually also has little rings there. You want to line this up. I'm not going to tighten it until I get the handlebars back on there, because it's easy to get the wheel not straight with the handlebars as you're doing this. So we'll get that all straight in just a second. So then I'm going to put this one, lean this bike out, back on top of here. And you will have to think about this as you're deciding how tall of an extension you want. I can still get that to stretch with my cables, but I saw one that was like a 7-inch extension, and if that were the case, I would have to do some more work to get those cables to be the right length, so keep that in mind as well.
If you look here, you can see inside of the extender where the actual stem is coming to, and you can tell that the top bolt is actually above where that stem is, and that is not okay. You want to make sure that both of the bolts here are underneath the level where that stem ends. We're going to take the handlebars off and then just slip. It's probably going to have to be this middle-sized spacer out. Let's see where that leaves us. Now you can tell that this bolt is underneath the level where the stem is. Now the other thing that I want to point out is that we want these bolts to be really tight. We don't want those slipping off. However, the bolt that's going to go down inside of here does not need to be quite as tight. It's not actually holding the handlebars on. It's making sure that there's the proper play between the handlebars and the fork there. And so I'll show you this in a second, but what we're going to do once we get this tightened is hold those brakes and kind of slide that back and forth to make sure we have the right amount of play there. So now we're going to slide this long bolt that came with the stem extender in there, put this on top here so that it's the right length. Okay, now I've got this just hand tight. You can see that other spacer on top here, the cap on top of it, and then the bolt going in. And so I've got that kind of just hand tight, and then I'm going to grab this front brake and just kind of push this back and forth and make sure I've got a good play there with the fork, which that feels good to me.
So we want to make sure we get the wheels straight, but we'll do that in a second. The first thing is now I've got a long shot to get down to that screw. You can't even really see it. So I'm going to take the long screw, and I actually kind of like this original one that came with it better. That's got my little Von Trager symbol. Now this is kind of a fishing game because I got to find that hole, and it's not that easy. But you just kind of move around until you find where that hole is, way at the bottom. And obviously if I start trying to screw in and I'm in it, then I won't be able to pull it out. But if I'm not, then I will still be able to pull that out. Let's see if I got it in. Oh, I did. Now, don't be too surprised. This plate was wanting to slide off as I was doing this the first time too. In fact, that's why I had gone with the other little plate. You can see there's a gap right there. But if you just kind of hold it in place, I'm going to have to do that with two hands, then it will stay in place as it gets tighter. It has a little groove on the bottom like that. Oops, focus. So it will stay in place once you get it tight enough. But you might have to hold it in place as you're tightening it. And you want this one pretty tight on there. So once we've got that tight, now, just for cosmetic's sake, I think it looks nice if these two are lined up with each other. They don't technically have to be, but line those up. And of course, you can see how crooked it is right now. Make sure the wheel's lined up. So I'm just gonna hold that wheel with my foot, turn it till it's straight, and then we will retighten this and this and this and this. So I'm gonna start with, I've got it pretty straight there. Start with these two. You want these quite tight as well. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that down where it's at though. I'm not too concerned about it, but if I had two hands I could kind of twist it and get it lined up perfectly underneath the other one. Again, you want that pretty tight. You want to be able to take it off again if you need to in the future, but pretty tight on all those. But that is all there is to it. It's really a pretty simple installation there, and gives you, in this case, 2.5 more inches so that your handlebars are not quite so low. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, I'd appreciate if you could give me a thumbs up or some comments below, and subscribe to my channel for more useful tutorials. If you have any questions, leave them below, of course. And I've got a link in the bottom showing the stem extender that I bought, and you'll find a bunch more on Amazon or wherever as well. Thanks for watching.